Alright. I wore my favorite t-shirt. That'll be appropriate for today. Okay, here we go. It was cold, gray, and snowing in Seoul, Korea, but as I get off the plane in Los Angeles, I grow confused. It is blindingly sunny here. I'm wearing my favorite ankle-length velvet red dress with little black polka dots and carrying my winter coat. I am 3, almost 4, and this is my first time in my new country. Where did the snow go? I asked my dad. It doesn't snow here, he laughs. I said, but when does it come back? He laughs even harder. It won't come back. My body, born into a country with abundant snow in the winter and extreme humidity in the summer, quickly grew accustomed to the milder climate, rendering me now a complete weather wimp, able to survive only in the narrow geographical zones of California or maybe Hawaii. California breathes in me now. I know this most when I am not in California, because, as is often the case, you don't understand what you have until you don't have it. When I am in Arizona, I feel landlocked and trapped, as if the ocean is calling, but I'm too far to respond. In a Pennsylvania winter, the sight of all the leafless trees depresses me. I know the life in the tree is dormant, but to me it looks dead. I long for the color of the evergreens, the pines, the California live oak, and palm trees. In Germany, eating dry, dark breads and sandwiches with few spices, I hunger for all the flavors and variety of the Korean, Mexican, Thai, Japanese food available in Los Angeles. If I am in traffic in Korea, I get a strange hankering even for the wide lanes of the 405. California is where my heart is, home to the deserts, the rivers, even the snow in the mountains, and what calls to me the most, the ocean. We are there in my earliest memories. One particular day stands out so clearly. We're in Redondo. The water is framed by a pier that goes toward the ocean and then cuts across the horizon, creating a kind of cove. I am 7, wearing a yellow bikini. I splash around in the cold water and jump over the waves with my sister. Occasionally we come out, deliciously chilled as my mom wraps towels around us. We thaw in the sun and then repeat. We do not rush. We have nowhere else we have to be. We have our pails and dig into the sand and create a castle with the moat. I smell grilled onions. Perhaps it makes my dad hungry. He leaves and comes back with hamburgers. Everything tastes delicious outside. We dig in the sand all day and don't go home until the sun goes down. This is how I feel when I'm deeply absorbed in something, whether writing or making art. The day passes beautifully with little awareness of time. I grew up in Glendale, but always we visited the beaches, going up north from Venice, Santa Monica to Malibu, Zuma, Carpinteria, Santa Barbara, and Pismo, south from here to Dockweiler, Manhattan, Redondo, Long Beach, Laguna, San Juan Capistrano, La Jolla. In the 70s of my childhood, you could still drive right onto the ocean sand of some of the beaches. We throw blankets and pillows onto the back of our LTD station wagon. When we get to the beach at night, we pull the back seat down, pop open the back door so we have a view of the dark, mysterious ocean. We eat rectangular Korean dark jelly and let the sweet roll in our mouth as the ocean roars its rhythm. Then we all sleep in the back together under the soft blankets, still able to hear the sound of the waves, this rhythm that influences who I am. By the ocean, I am free, unbound from the everyday routines, following the patterns of the natural world. Even now, the ocean is in me. I run there, paint there, rollerblade, surf. We take our kids to boogie board in Malibu, explore the tidal pools in San Pedro, and rent cabins in Crystal Cove. As I grow older, I have a growing appreciation not only for the topography of California, but also for the culture, especially this past year. I wonder how much of the topography influences who we are. Our state is not one vast flat land stretching into infinity. We have our valleys, our mountains, deserts, rivers, and ocean. Our landscape is so varied, and so are our people. We are, especially in the cities, a mixture of people who cross-pollinate each other so that long-held ideas are tested and new ideas emerge. Is it possible we can empathize more, understanding what it feels like to be a majority in one neighborhood and a minority in another a few miles away? And maybe as we stare out at the ocean and all the vastness, we are given a taste of freedom and the possibility, a chance to shut out the noise of the human world and activate our imagination with the sound of the natural waves that no human can switch on or off at will. Our state, the first to send 2 women to Senate, also recently held the largest showing of any city as part of the largest organized protest in American history. At the Women's March, we stood not just in protest of 45, but to reaffirm what we value, what America values at its best. When we are our best selves, California doesn't just tolerate diversity, it celebrates it. I saw that at the march of all different races, ages, religions, gender, and abilities show up with their signs and kitty hats. I grew up with the kind teachers and principals who championed and respected inclusiveness I saw at the march. In first grade, they asked students from our multicultural school to wear costumes of their ancestors. I wore my Korean hanbok with its brilliant fuchsia skirt with striped rainbow sleeves. They made me feel like it was natural to have multiple identities, that you could be American and keep your past, and that this is indeed what makes you American. When Governor Pete Wilson targeted immigrant groups with Prop 187 in the 90s, with his stance that appeared cruel towards those seeking health care, Californians rejected that cruelty and shifted blue and have not turned back since. When we are our best selves, we nurture creativity, our writers, our artists, our musicians, and actors, all present at the Women's March, not present at a certain somebody's inauguration. In the best of California, we are given the advice of Beverly Mickens, let your freak flag fly. It is the personal and the individual that is also universal and connects each other as humans. We only get one life, but the creatives allow us to imagine what it's like to walk in many different shoes. Perhaps because even with a short drive from the city, we are surrounded by so much natural beauty, we are our best selves when we are good stewards of our environment. In California, we had environmental activists before those words even became part of the lexicon. Women such as Afton Slade, with a flair for the dramatic, created press events where she made a happy birthday cake to celebrate the 21 years of smog in the 60s. The cake had skulls and bones on the top, created with frosting. California demanded the first anti-smog on cars. The smog days of my youth, which ended in canceled PE days, are a thing of the past. We are our best when we create economic opportunities for as many people as possible. Schools such as UCLA and UC Berkeley, which I attended, rank at the top of the nation in allowing people from poor or middle-class backgrounds to climb the ladder. America was never a country that believed in equal talent. What it believed was advocating for having equal access to opportunities so that you could then develop those talents. Those talents that come from refugees and immigrants that California welcomes, as well as from the school system which the state invests in, then fuel amazing spots such as Silicon Valley, which changed the world. I don't think our best days are behind us. I think they are ahead and we are leading. The dreamers are still there. Just look on YouTube. See Bea Johnson in Mill Valley in Northern California. The mother of 2 sons shows how her family of 4 produces only 1 jar of waste in an entire year. She is not waiting for the world to change. The change is coming from within her. Look at Chef Alice Waters in Berkeley. She is changing our culture as the idea of slow food, which is the opposite of fast food culture, takes root. She has created gardens attached to school cafeterias for students to raise their own food and feed themselves, and to persuade them to see the food, environment, culture, and time in a different way. She sees clean food as a basic right and has a goal of making fresh food free for all public students, changing not just the lives of students, but also the food chain and how and where we grow our food and the definition of fairness. It may feel right now as if we are at the start of a tsunami where the wave is pulling back, taking us 50 years backwards in the wrong direction. But even dictators can't control a wave. It will be temporary, as the wave can't be held back forever and will come roaring forward again, stronger than ever. It is at this time that I am as proud as ever to be a Californian.
Wow.